Good morning, Service Alliance community. How y'all doing today?
Wow, what an intro. Holy cow.
You haven't had one like that in
I
a while, have you?
I haven't had that. I'm speechless after that. Like, I'm used to, like, how you doing? How you doing? This is a blast because I have never got to co-host with Zach Kreider before. So that's like, I'm just like, woohoo! This is a blast, man.
I'm excited. Yeah, we've been friends for a long time. I've co-hosted with your wife more times than I can count, but I have not gotten to co-host with you. So this is fun.
Fun stuff. Fun stuff. I'm looking forward to this morning. I think it's a great topic and give me some great conversation.
Yeah. Well, I feel bad for the audience. They're stuck with me 2 days in a row. So, good luck, guys.
Well, the good thing is this side of it changed, and so the conversation will be.
It's true. That's true.
Better.
Oh, poor Doug. Shots fired. Shots fired. Well, here, let me honor Mike and I bring out my big old book of dad jokes here and be like,
all right.
What do you get when you cross a duck and a squirrel?
What do you get when you cross a duck and a squirrel?
A nutquacker.
A nutquacker. I don't know. My Uncle Eddie is here with me, and he crashed on the couch. And yeah, I think he's just no. Yeah.
I put him to sleep with that joke, eh?
Yeah, no. I'm coming to you live from Barnes Catraz. I'm up in St. Louis this week. Mom had surgery yesterday, so thank you for all the prayers and thoughts. And I thought it would be this really cool view behind me because it's an apartment complex and there's a big old thing of windows. But yeah, no, it's dark and cold and rainy. So
welcome to winter.
Yeah, I ordered this deck of cards, special deck of cards from Amazon a couple weeks ago, thinking it would be here, and it never arrived. So customer service told me that they're dealing with it.
Yeah, they left that one in the dust.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that their custom? Have you noticed on a serious note on that? Like, have you noticed that Amazon's customer service is just like absolute turd? Like, it's horrible. It's horrible. I had a Christmas present that was supposed to show up for my wife. Like, we bought each other Green Day tickets, right? Like, that's our thing.
No way, the 30th anniversary.
Yeah, up at Wrigley Field. Yeah. Super excited about that. That's like
Where's
our
mine?
Christmas and birthday and anniversary, and like we rolled it all into one.
Heck yeah.
Expensive tickets. Super excited. Making memories together. Love it.
For sure.
I wanted her to be able to open something on Christmas Day, right? And Amazon screwed the pooch on that one. They lost it somewhere in Minnesota. They sent it from Shanahan, Illinois, which, if you know Illinois at all, is 5 minutes south of me. They shipped it to Minnesota and then lost it.
Wow. So wait a second, you ordered Green Day tickets through Amazon?
No, I ordered a Green Day shirt. It was really cool looking.
Oh, Green Day shirt. Okay.
Flower pot. Yeah.
I didn't know Amazon sold concert tickets.
Something nice for her to, open Christmas Day. Nope. Yeah. You think Amazon would care? Nope. No customer service. Something to be said for brick and mortar support.
That's for sure.
Support local.
Morning, EJ. And
so
we got Adam. Let's see.
Yeah.
Adam. Hey, Adam.
Yeah.
How you doing?
So today our topic is going to be talking about customer service kind of from the field perspective, and then how do we, because you and I both came from the field, right? We were both in the field, active technicians in our respective fields, and now we've kind of transitioned into the office world. And so we have
okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about like the Bible. We came from mud and clay fields.
Well, that too. So the trades, we were in the field and now we've transitioned to the office. So what does it look like to elevate that customer service experience from the field side of things What are things that we did? What were things we encouraged the other technicians to do to elevate that experience? And then on the other side of that, as the office, how are we tracking that? Are we tracking that? Are we paying attention to that at all? So kind of that real more intimate, that zoom in from yesterday's conversation.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. I think it's gonna be a good one.
you have a great scripture. Have you bring in the scripture and we'll pray it up and dig in?
Yeah. 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. I thought that fit pretty well with talking about the trades and customer service.
Does indeed. Does
Mhm.
indeed. Good stuff. Well, you want to pray it in or you want me to pray it in?
Go for it.
All right. Dear Father, we thank you for this day. And I'm just so grateful that I get to be alongside my brother Jason today, having a conversation. May you bless the words that we speak and encourage those in the community and help to elevate the service industry as a whole. Father, we just thank you and we praise you for this day. In Jesus' name, amen.
Nice. Nice.
So, from the field perspective, what were some of the little, let's just get into the tips and tricks. What were some of the little things that you did to elevate the customer experience? Like maybe starting from the first contact or whatever, like as you had as a tech.
Man, we could do like a whole teaching on this. In fact, I do. But yeah, talking about customer service versus customer experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Customer service, that's like you were explaining, right? The Amazon crap, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to make sure that my customers had an experience with me that they wouldn't forget. So they would remember me in the future. Man, I remember Jason. He was the smell good electrician, right? I actually was dubbed the smell good electrician, right? And they remembered that. I had a lot of people remember that. I don't like to stink. I think as a tradesman, you shouldn't be overbearingly, but you should at least
No
smell.
butt crack, no stink.
No
right?
butt
Like
crack. Wear
kind of
belts.
like the two things. Yeah.
But yeah, it starts from the very get go from your marketing, right? What's your marketing look like? Is it welcoming? Is it inviting? Is it like use me because I care about you? Right. Then it goes to your phones, right? How's your office answering the phones? Are they friendly? Are they not? Do they suck at their job? Do they need more training, right? And then you follow that up with all the way to the pre-call. For me, I call it the pre-call when I would call them up before I'm on the way, or some just text. Even in the text, what does your text say? Is it inviting or is it cold, right? Is it just that simple, hey, Jason's on his way, or hey, your service technician, Jason from Service Detectives is on his way. Click this link and it'll show you a picture and a little bit of a bio about it, right? So elevating it just by another sentence, right? Even in the
like that we had the link to it. You and I have been with House Call since you could send the picture right in it, and then Google and all the other phone carriers broke that. Jerks.
Yeah, I know.
That was so nice. Like actually being able to just send the technician's face, hey, Zach from Gordon's Appliances on the way. He's gonna, be there in 15 minutes, whatever. It was nice to be able to do that. Now we have to go an extra step. They have to do an extra click.
Yeah.
Garbage.
But when I arrived at the house, I call it proper vehicle placement, right? So where do you park your truck? And there's a appliance guy that actually teaches this, but I've learned this stuff from the heating and air side of the world for years. But where are you parking your truck? Are you parking it right in their driveway, blocking their cars? Are you parking out in the street if it's safe to? Double check with them when you walk up, even when you're coming up to the house. Are you smiling with your tool bag in your hand? Or are you walking humdrum where if they're looking, which more than likely they're looking out that window if they know you're coming and watching for you. And even if they aren't, are the neighbors watching you? Right? There's another aspect of customer experience. If your neighbors see you pull up and they see you walk all humdrum, I don't want to use that guy. He just lit up a cigarette and threw it on their lawn. You don't want that kind of stuff. But even how you walk up to their house, how you park.
Never
I
failed. I always parked on the wrong side. Always parked on the wrong side. Up in my area, there's very few spots where you can actually be on the street. You do have to be in the driveway because of village rules and such. But it would never fail. I'd walk up to the house. Hey, just making sure I'm in a good spot. Oh yeah, no, I need you to move.
Yeah,
100%. Every time I could pick a different side each time. It wouldn't matter. I was always on the wrong side.
But you asked. That's a big part of it, right?
That's the important part of it.
Yeah. Yep. I always knocked on the door. I didn't like ringing the doorbell. And that's a whole nother reason why we could dive into that. Knocking on the door versus ringing the doorbell. If you've never tried this before, who rings the doorbell usually? Salesman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be a salesman. I'm a customer service expert, my friend.
I do want to be a salesman. Oh wait, I am. Never mind.
You are now. But
salesman.
And that's a dirty word for electricians, I'll tell you that much. Yeah. We never like to be called a salesman, but service expert, that's what I like to use. But so yeah, knocking on the door. So try this if you haven't. The door frame, if you knock on the door frame of the house, it's actually connected to the house, right? Versus the door is just connected by the hinges. So like if you have like a 2-story house or a house with a basement or just a really big old house, knock on the door frame, have your wife on the other end. I guarantee it's going to resonate the house and you'll be able to hear that. And it's soft. It's not like it's horribly loud, right? But versus knocking on the door or even ringing the doorbell. If you ring the doorbell and they've got crazy dogs like we do, or maybe they got a baby sleeping and you just woke them up and made those dogs bark like crazy, you've already just started yourself on the foot, right? So another reason for that pre-call text or call to let them know you're on the way.
For sure. Yeah, that was always nice because, hey, text me when you're in the driveway or, knock on the door, kids sleeping, whatever. Yeah. There was always some type of communication that happened when you did the pre-text or pre-call, whatever.
For sure.
That's always a good way to start it off.
Your biggest thing, asking permission, right? Hey, open the door. Hey, I'm Jason with Service Detectives here to be your technician today. Hey, I parked my truck here in the driveway. Is that okay? I'm not going to be blocking anybody, right? Point it out, especially if you have a nice wrapped vehicle. I love my vehicle wraps. So
that goes to customer experience. Don't be driving around in the pedophile van. Make sure your stuff is wrapped. Make sure people know who the heck you are.
I got to say, tradespeople are the worst for not taking pride in their vehicles. And I've coached a lot of guys over the year. When I went to their shop, they were like, yeah, let's not look in the truck because it's pretty bad. I'm like, I want to go see the truck now. Yeah, let's start there. Because if it's bad enough that you're not wanting to show me. And I'll tell you what, on the phones, right, we often will say, in my business, we would say, Jason will be there with his mobile warehouse, stocked with thousands of parts for on-the-spot repairs. And I literally had people will meet me. This is no joke. Would meet me out of my truck and be like, "Okay, I got to see this truck that's stocked with all these parts." You bet. Heck yeah, because I take pride in my vehicles. Even still today, I take pride in my vehicles. Right? We have my office help van that's fully wrapped. That sucker stays clean. Right? I go wash it 2 or 3 times a week. I make sure the inside's washed out. When we go to vendor and trade shows, if somebody needs a ride to the airport, give me a call. So even to today, I take pride. But I'd open the back of the sucker up and let everybody see because I'm proud of my vehicle, my stock, the way my truck looks. It's clean. The floors were swept out. So man, if I'm going to beat anybody up, it's going to be tradespeople. You got to take more pride in your service vehicle.
Well, and I know some of these guys in the audience right now, and some of the future audience members are going, well, what the heck does that have to do with customer experience?
A lot.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
I mean, well, what was the first thing you just said here with the white vans? You called it a customer.
Yeah,
the
pedophile van. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be known as the pedophile guy,
right?
Driving around in a white truck.
Right.
We were at one point,
right?
Not known as pedophiles, but had the white trucks.
Well, it becomes a stigma, right? Like, okay, what are you hiding? You don't have your company wrap on there. What is this guy hiding. Now, in the flooring world, we see this all the time. There's a lot of floor stores that are like, no, we don't want you pulling up to, as subcontractors, we don't want you pulling up to houses in wrapped vehicles. They need to be plain vans, whatever. And it drives me crazy.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't care if customers know that I use subs. I can't keep guys busy all the time. There's some guys that I could give them 10 jobs a week and they're still not going to be busy enough, which is, I mean, it's like mind blowing how much. So yeah, I use the best quality vetted people. I pay them better than anyone else, right? Because I serve better than anyone else. So I'm okay if you know what company they are, because they're still gonna go, yeah, you need to call Mr. Zach and he'll get you a quote for your next install.
Yeah.
They're not gonna sneak work from me because I pay them better than anyone else. Because I treat them better than anyone else, right? So
you bet.
wrapping those vans are important. Making sure people know who you are, super important.
Yeah, Jeremy, definitely. You only get one chance for a first impression. You bet.
Yep. And
so that leads us.
And Dan hit this too. And if you missed it early on, customize that on my way text. Add the link to, like Jason said, a little separate bio with a picture so they know exactly who that technician is. Whatever it is, do that extra little touch so it's not generic. It doesn't feel dirty, right? If you were tuned in yesterday, we kind of talked about this a little bit. We're at this transitional phase where your technicians may be the first human experience. Let's start it off on the right foot, right? Let's start it off with, even though it's a text, even though it's automation, let's start it off with them being able to see a warm, smiling technician face and knowing who they're dealing with. So,
yep. Uniforms. I mean, that's another aspect of customer experience versus just customer service. I know plumbers are this way a lot too. I'm going to pick a little bit. Wear a belt. Wear a belt. I mean, how many times are you crawling on the floor, Mr. Appliance guy, and working on that compressor, or working on that garbage disposal, or whatever it may be underneath the sink? And yeah, plumber's crack, appliance crack. But
I will say, as appliance guys, go look into those scratchless belts, because you're leaning over machines.
That's a good idea.
Will inevitably scratch a washer, a oven, whatever. So go look into the scratchless belts where it's not like a metal belt buckler. It protects the belt buckle. Highly recommend that. Highly recommend that.
And there's a link to that in Zach's TikTok shop. Is that right?
No, I it's been a while since I've needed to wear one of those. But no, when I first started in appliance repair 12 years ago, my counterpart, the guy that I was working alongside as I was an employee in the company, he had a scratchless belt, and it worked. Because it never fails. You were leaning over a machine to reach a connection, to undo the water, whatever, and to not scratch a customer's machine. Again, that's it. It's like a little thing, but it elevates that customer experience. They don't have to deal with a scratched machine now. So it's
I always had also the rugs that were like a 3x5 to set my tools on. So if I'm on a counter or on a wood floor, I would always set it. And I think was it EJ, or there was somebody in the group that was posting a link to one of the Amazon stores that would customize it with your logo on there for cheap. It wasn't that bad.
Back in the day, I'm sure Dr. Dan knows the one that I'm talking about. Maytag gave those tool rolls. They were these nice vinyl Maytag tool rolls that you could put out, set your tools on, whatever, so you didn't scratch the customer's stuff. Those were absolutely fantastic.
I always used Shuby, Tamiko over at Shuby. It's SHUBEE.com, and that's for Tamiko. She's my gal since 2004. I've been buying shoe covers. That's the next thing we can hit up on. When you're walking in the house, shoe covers are cheap, man. Yeah. If you're walking outside, you never know what you're going to be stepping in or stepping on. And I'm sorry, but if they got babies crawling around, do you think they want you tracking in whatever's on your feet? Shoe covers are cheap.
You
I
know, one of
always
the
got the
people that
waterproof ones.
you and I cross paths with, and you may not remember him, but Brandon Stowe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Crackerjack Air, he actually has for every single truck doormats. They literally will
Yep.
put a doormat on your doorstep with
Yep.
their like and inside
Logo
your
and
door
stuff.
as well. It has their logo, but it keeps their guys from tracking in the house. So their guys set the floor mat outside, they set the other floor mat inside, they put their shoe covers on and they go. Like that's
Yeah.
next level stuff. That elevates the customer experience. I
That's for
disagree with
sure.
being white shirts. That drives me absolutely insane. Do not wear
Man,
white uniforms. That pisses me off more than anything.
I
But
had
everything
black
else he does
pants,
is awesome.
and white shirts for years. I'm talking years, like 2004 to probably sometime 2013, 14. And then I changed to a nice gray shirt. It just kind of helped a little bit. But yeah, I was white shirt for a long time, dude. And it actually helped a lot. I'm telling you. And they're easy to clean. You can bleach them.
But
We had a uniform service.
let's be
Yeah.
honest. White shirts now have a very negative connotation, right? Especially because of HVAC. The white
Yeah.
shirts are the guys that don't know how to be technicians. That's why their shirts never get dirty. So they're there to sell you $30,000 heating and air system that you don't need when a $300 repair would have sufficed. So
Yeah.
it's more the connotation that white shirt has gotten now.
It can be. It can be.
Yeah. So
There are still some good heating and air companies out there. So.
I'm not saying there's not.
I
I'm just,
know. I know.
it's
And they don't all
this,
wear white shirts.
again, the stigma that is out there,
But
just like the
bottom
pedo
line is,
bands. Yeah.
if anything, get you
Yeah.
some decent shirts with your
Right.
logo on it. That's gonna not.
Bare
I'm not
minimum,
saying
your logo.
I'm not
Bare
saying
minimum.
anything majorly bad about t-shirts, but it's something about a polo shirt. It's something about a button shirt. I always got my t-shirts from automotiveworkwear.com. It was the red cap 2424. I still remember the shirt. It was $10 for a button-up shirt that looked nice. And I went and had my embroidery put on for like $7-8. You're under $20 for a nice uniform shirt. You get 11 of those, so you've got a bunch of them, got some spares. You're not that much into a nice shirt, right?
I started out with the lettered, like the Dickies pocket shirts. I think the problem with those, and again, this goes to customer perception, how the customer experiences you. They would see those shirts and they would automatically put you on a lower level, right?
The Dickies ones.
Yeah, they equated you to, okay, well, this guy's just a technician. He doesn't know what he's doing. It doesn't matter. Like they're not.
That's right.
Like, right?
From my point of view, I never got that.
Come up to Chicago, it's a little different up here.
Yeah.
But when we switched over to the polos, like you were saying, it kind of changes that dynamic, right?
Yeah.
And so
you got to find what works for you, maybe in your area.
Yes, look at what works in your area. Don't be afraid to try different things. My plumber still wears t-shirts, and that guy is recommended more than anyone else. They wear the belt. You know, they have a belt on. They're not plumber cracking everyone. But they wear the t-shirts and it works. It works for them in their area. So make sure you take a look around.
So yeah, what is the shirt? Well, it was the automotiveworkwear.com is where I always ordered my button-up shirts from. And it was the red cap 2424. Again, they're like $10. They may have went up to like $12 because of inflation now, but that's what I used. They were good. You can get them in different colors: black, white, red, green, merengue. I don't know. But yeah, so putting your shoe covers on when you first walk in the door. I would actually put them on as I'm walking over the threshold into the door, and just as a sign of respect. I tell you, there's a lot of Asian people.
2024.
Red cap 2024. 2424.
24.
But a lot of Asian people I would work for, it was you either had to take off your shoes, or whenever I asked, I've got shoe covers, is it okay if I put those on? They were just like, oh, wow, thank you. Yeah. It was a sign of respect for them. So in a lot of cultures, if you're not either taking your shoes off or putting shoe covers on, you're just walking in with your shoes, it's a sign of disrespect.
Now,
So,
it's important to have the disposal waterproof ones because I want to
heck
share a
yeah.
story about that customer experience.
Yep.
We had some cultures that you would walk in and they would want you to put shoe covers on, or actually rather they would want you to take your shoes off, and I
Yep.
refused. I would put
Yep.
shoe covers on because you would walk in their house and it was disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, it was just greasy and nasty, and it's like, I'm not walking through your house in my socks, but I will
Yep.
happily put the shoe covers on. I will respect you in that way and contain my mess, and also protect myself. So the waterproof shoe covers are great for that.
Well,
Uh,
I'll tell you on Shuby, the ones that I got, and see if I can find them real quick, but they had so they had the waterproof ones, but I found oftentimes when I would go downstairs, especially carpeted stairs, it was slick. So
yep,
they had a waterproof one that had a grip on it. It's called the Super B shoe covers.
nice.
Shoe B Super B. And it had a little bit of a sticky um, grip on the bottom,
Yeah,
but they were still waterproof. Those were the bomb, man. Love those things.
nice. So
Um,
what else are we doing to elevate the customer experience before we get into kind of, are we tracking this?
well, for me, it was the conversations I would have before I would even start turning a tool.
Hmm.
It was the questions I would ask, right? So I always considered myself kind of like a doctor. If I'm going there troubleshooting, or even if I'm just going there for an estimate, I had a specific set of questions, that I had on my work order that I wanted to get answered before I started turning any tools. And it was just simply, what kind of problems you've been having? When did this start happen? Anybody else have, look at this for you? It was just helping me get an ideal of what's been going on. If anybody else has looked at it, why didn't they fix it? I'm getting all this stuff in the background of my head. And I would probably spend a good 10-15 minutes um, just talking and interacting, and I won't say becoming their friend, but just getting on their side before I'd actually go start turning tools. And then you got those D-type personalities that was just like, here's the problem, just get it fixed, right?
You know, the
So
line that I always used when I would walk in, I know what's on my work order. I know what the girls took, like I have it, but I want to hear from your perspective, because sometimes things can get lost in translation when they're typing
100%.
stuff in. Go ahead, walk me through your problem real quick and just kind of help me understand
Yeah.
exactly what you're experiencing. That way I make sure we don't miss anything. And so that kind of
Yeah.
helped. And I love that you brought that up. Think about doctors. How many doctors have you been to that's like, okay, let's, and they just like, they're cold and clinical, right? But then you have the doctors that take the time to get to know you, to ask the questions. Which one do you feel understands better and is going to treat you better? The one that's asking the questions, the one that's trying to figure out what's actually going on. So that is important, especially in the service industry. So
100%. 100%. But yeah, just having that conversation. And then for me, I would go and once I get their permission to start doing the work, I'd go start doing work and gather information. I always did an evaluation on the electrical system. The evaluation identified problem points. And I got to be very careful in how I say this, because there's a fine line between taking an advantage of a customer and making sure I'm doing my job thoroughly and correctly. So hear me out when I say this. I learned quickly early on in my career as an electrician, 25 years I was an electrician, that if I go into a house and let's say I'm in an attic or I'm in a crawl space or a spot that customer's probably never seen or never going to go in, and I saw something that was a concern that could potentially be a problem point. If I left that house and I knew that that was there without actually informing them of that problem, I felt like I didn't do my job correctly. And I don't know how many electricians I've talked to over the years that they did just that. They saw a problem and they didn't at least inform them about it. Now, what if that house caught on fire, right? And you didn't inform them about that? I'll tell you a story. I had an electrician friend of mine in Marietta, Georgia, that he did an evaluation on this house several times over the course of years. They did a lot of work. Well, there was a fire at this house, and the fire marshal called called Chris up and he's like, "Hey, Chris, I need you to come down to this house. There's been a fire. And it's electrical fire. And as of right now, we're going to consider you guys probably, the problem, right?" So he brought all the paperwork. When he got there, the fire marshal said, "Well, we've now pinpointed it." And I don't remember what it was. I'm just going to say it was a ground fault up in the bathroom that, caused the problem, right? Upstairs. So Chris goes through all his paperwork and he goes, "All right, so I'm going to show you this right here. 3 times we informed Mrs. Jones that she actually needed to get that ground fault fixed, and she declined to do that every time." Fire marshal looked at all the paperwork and he goes, "Okay, you guys are off the hook." So there's 2 sides to it, right? One is I want to make sure my client is safe so I can sleep at night so they can sleep at night. And then B, I want to make sure I protect myself and my company for any future potential problems, right? Yep. So I say that as an electrician, but think about it as an appliance repairman. You take that dryer apart and it's full of lint. The bottom side of it is full of lint. And you don't at least show the customer or tell the customer, "Hey, I had to take the dryer apart. The bottom side of this is full of lint. This is a potential problem," right? It could create some bigger issues down the line if we don't go ahead and fix that. It's only X amount extra for me to go ahead and take care of this while I've got this apart. Would you like me to go ahead and do that? If they say no,
dryers,
write it down.
Automatic cleaning. But what that indicates is that they have a probable clogged vent. Mm-hmm. And so then you either refer them off to a venting company or, "Hey, you know what? We offer venting service. I just need to show you this. I need you to understand this is what caused that. And here's what happens if we don't." Most of the dryer fires happen because of a clogged vent. They happen in the vent, and that's what actually burns your house down, right? And so just that level of education to the customer is so, so important.
Yeah. So I hammer so hard on this as a customer experience aspect of it because I want them to be safe. But in the end, it is also helping with your revenue. Mm-hmm. And I create a small portion of my training to it's about the revenue and a huge portion of it being about the safety of the customer's home, right? So hear me when I say that. It's not a sales tactic at all. It's I want to make sure they're safe aspect.
So and then hitting on that, Jose kind of brought it up yesterday about cleaning up afterwards. So part of the customer experience is you've taken stuff apart, you've done all this stuff. Now do you just leave a mess? I can't tell you how many appliance companies we followed that would just leave a mess. And our guys would vacuum the area around. They'd vacuum the whole dang room if they had to, sweep it up, whatever. We were behind the fridge. "Hey, ma'am, can I have your broom so I can, I'm just going to sweep this up before we put it back. If you got a little like floor cleaner, I'll go ahead and, just kind of wipe this up before I shove it back." I know not everyone gets behind their fridge, right? I'm in the middle of a remodel with my team. And my guys are taking care. They're putting down, floor mats and stuff like that to make sure that they're protecting the areas that they're working in. But still, at the end of the project, out of my pocket, I am going to pay my friend Faye and her cleaning service to go over and do a full deep clean of the house. Listen, there's drywall dust. There's all sorts of stuff around. And I'm going to make sure that her team takes care of the customer. They go that extra level and clean up the mess that's 100%. In the area. So
yeah, I don't care if you're appliance, heating and air, electrician, whatever. A shop vac is cheap compared to a complaint or a bad review.
Yep.
I'll tell you that in 2006, we were building a house and we had a security guy come in, put security system in, and he left everywhere he drilled a hole in the sheetrock, he left the sheetrock dust underneath. And my, at that time, pregnant wife with our first, or no, it was our second child comes in, and she got there before I did. She comes in, she is pissed.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "I don't ever want that guy in my house again." She's talking to me over the phone about this. I'm like, "What happened?" Thinking, okay, this guy did something really bad.
Right.
He was driving the white van or something, And she goes, "He left messes everywhere. Everywhere he drilled a hole, there's sheetrock dust underneath on the ground. And I've got to be the one to clean it up."
Yep.
He never stepped foot in our house again.
Yep.
So think about that. A shop vac is cheap. The Milwaukee ones, we had the Milwaukee $100 shop vacs in every single one of our trucks.
Yep.
We have Shuby has them, or you can get them just about anywhere. But like the uh, the goop, what they call them, the goop rags,
Yeah.
the orange citrusy type of stuff.
Yep.
To clean up, they make counter. There's all kinds of stuff. It's cheap, right?
Yep.
Compared to a bad review or never getting another service call from them again.
We always kept a little bit of simple green in our trucks, especially, because we were working on ovens, and ovens,
Yep.
people don't ever clean their stove tops at all. They're disgusting, like just gross.
Yeah.
But you could, spray it down ahead of time and then spray it down after you were done. If you were working on a washer, listen, those direct drives, that oil gets all over your fingers, that softener gets all over your fingers. Spray it down with some simple green, wipe it up, leaves it smelling nice, customers happy. And then you give them a little tip. Hey, you can use this, whatever. It's a great way to keep and extend the life of your appliance, right? So
yeah, very
little
cool.
things like that make a difference.
I'm telling you, every little thing we've talked about, and then there's a whole. I mean, we could do 2 or 3 shows on just little things for customer experience versus customer service, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whenever I was sharing this, I posted a picture of Clark Kent versus Superman, right? Customer service versus customer experience, right? Think about Superman and Clark Kent when you're deciding what you want to do for customer service versus customer experience. So, yeah.
Awesome. It's a great picture. Well, we didn't get into the other topic, but that's all right. I think we covered a lot of things that some guys know, but don't always pay attention to. So
Yeah.
just make sure when you're in and you're servicing these customers, you do just a lot of little things add up to make an overall great experience. So there's minute little things or minute little changes in your workflow are going to make a big difference overall. So
what else were you wanting to hit up on?
Well, I was hoping to get into the tracking side of things, but we're kind of running into the long end of it,
Well, I mean, we could. There's usually not a Wednesday. I'm just saying, if you want to jump on tomorrow, I'm available. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, I got to go back out to that house and make sure things are going the way they should. That's another part of customer experience.
Customer experience, yes.
My customers are in Florida, and I am taking care of the home. I am the steward of the home, and I am making sure the teams are doing what they're supposed to when they're supposed to. Just elevating that level of customer experience, which is why my customer wants to adopt me. Sweetest old lady in the world. That was really funny. So,
yep.
Anyway, all right, guys.
There's so much more we can hit up on. It's been a good conversation.
We'll have to circle back on this topic eventually and kind of expand on it a little bit further. So, get out there, serve your customers well, and TK will see you Thursday on the Morning Grind. Have a good day, guys.